Zayn has left One Direction. It's not fair. I mean, I know there's like 4 other members left in the band, but I can't go on with my life. Life is simply unbearable. I mean, I can't believe it. Fuck you. Honestly, words don't even describe the amount of stupidity some people in this world, in this day and age, fucking have. I mean, with how seriously some of these idiots are taking the fact that Zayn has left One Direction, going as far as to self-harm and cut themselves. You know, I can forgive the whole crying and uploading it on YouTube and whatnot, as I've actually seen so far myself, you know, but to cut yourself, and to, from what I've heard, just from what I've heard, some people have even killed themselves over it. Are you for fucking real? If you're going to self-harm and put yourself in physical danger just because a member of your favourite band has left, there's a problem, okay? Not only are you setting a bad example to just about everyone else, but think about it like this. Obviously you're a fan of this band. Now personally, I couldn't give 2 shits about One Direction. Personally, I think they're one of the worst bands to disgrace this fucking earth. But if you want to be a fan of that band, you know, it's your right, it's your privilege, you know. Who am I to tell you what to listen to and what not to listen to? But if you are a fan of any band, if you're a true fan, you'd respect the members' decision whether they leave or whether they stay. And I highly, highly doubt that he would like to learn that the fans, the very people who got him where the hell he is, are doing this to themselves. How do you think that would make him feel? Do you honestly think he'd want that on his conscience? Not that it's his fault anyway. By the way, my mate Liam also made a video about this very same topic, and I'm going to link his video in the description box down below, and I highly urge you to check it out and watch it yourselves, because he spoke about this in a bit more detail than what I'm doing right now. But he brought up 2 very important points about this that actually pissed me off the most about this whole story. Firstly is the fact that these fans are part of the same people who constantly criticise rock, metal and alternative music bands as being self-harmers or cutters. Irony much? Take a look at yourselves, look what you're doing. What you're doing is the exact same thing that you accuse us of doing, except on a much larger scale. Not to mention, I think the next generation of fans in your scene are going to look at that and think, hey, that's alright, we can do the same thing. But the thing that annoys me the most about this whole thing is the fact that it's motherfuckers like you who are the reason why people who cut because they're actually legitimately suffering and need help aren't being taken seriously. People now will just jump to the conclusion that every person who self-harms is an attention-seeking little bitch because of fucking pieces of shit like you who would cut over the most stupid of reasons. So, please, either grow the fuck up and shut the fuck up, or do the world a favour and commit yourselves. Not to a mental institute, but to either a zoo or a neuroscience research facility. Now, speaking of people who actually genuinely need help, it was revealed recently that the Germanwings flight that crashed the other day in the French Alps was in fact deliberately crashed by the co-pilot. I've linked an article in the description so you can read it for yourselves, but basically it was revealed that he was actually written off sick for that day and required not to fly, and investigators have found a sick note which was believed to have been torn up by himself. Now, on one hand, I actually feel very sorry for the guy because he was obviously a very troubled man. But at the same time, seriously, you selfish cunt. Now, I'm not an advocate of people taking their own lives. I do not endorse suicide. But if you are going to commit suicide, at least do it in an environment that doesn't endanger everyone else. Taking 149 people with you isn't even suicide anymore. It's actually homicide. In fact, it's mass homicide. And the fact that you were officially written off sick for that day and you still took the decision to fly tells me that you knew exactly what you were doing and exactly what was to come out of it. I don't even care what you were going through anymore. Nothing's an excuse for something like this. You were a pilot, for God's sake. With your salary, you could afford the best professional help money can buy. But no, instead you decide to take a plane, fly into a mountain, and kill 149 innocent people. Fuck you. This is probably the first time I mention it on this channel, but a lot of you who know me personally know I'm studying to be a pilot. And I find this to be quite disturbing because it means that basically the criteria and requirements for becoming qualified as a pilot are going to skyrocket now. Psychological testing for pilots is going to become much more intense and much more challenging from this point onwards, thanks to incidences like this. Before I end this video, I just want to say, if you're suffering, please seek help ASAP, because otherwise you may end up doing something you regret. Anyway, that's my rant over. I hope you all enjoyed. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button down there, and see you next time.